Today, looking back at my life, I know that I had been struggling with mental health issues well into my 30s, but I didn't know it at that time. I was ignorant about the state of my mental health, and when I did suspect, I was in denial. This is because there is so much of stigma surrounding mental health, and this is not a healthy state of things. We should not be afraid to admit that we are struggling with mental health. And when do we know this? If we are barely functioning to the outer world, but when we are in our own private space, if we cry and we are depressed and we are sad and we are often adhering to beliefs that are self-deprecating, that is a definite sign of mental health issues, and we should seek help. But when you are in that state where you do not know and you deny and you're struggling and you put up a pretense to the outer world like you're functioning at least at an acceptable level, and only break down into a fit of anger or into a fit of crying in your private space, you should know that you are struggling with mental health issues. But I didn't know it at that time. My mental health issue was mainly around a very poor self-concept. I perceived myself in a very negative light. I did not know where it came from at that time, but I told myself that I am really a person lacking in skill, in looks, in wealth, in personality. There was so much of proof around that my beliefs were false. But still, I held on to those beliefs, and these beliefs were also from time to time reinforced by some adults around me who had influence on me as a child. And when I grew up into an adult myself, I guess the people around me were helpful in retaining these negative beliefs by virtue of the words they spoke to me. For example, if I got attention from boys, I would be told that it's something wrong. What is so wrong about getting attention from boys at the age of 23 when you're beautiful? I was immediately told that it was not because I was beautiful, it was not because the boy was interested to have a relationship with me, but because he just wanted to have a good time, a one night stand, and I was leading him on by behaving like a slut. Yeah, these were the things that were told to me, and I believed it in its entirety, and I changed myself to avoid getting attention from boys. Can you imagine? That is definitely a sign of mental health issue, but I didn't know it. So if any of you are going through this, even if they're not similar, if at all you are functionally well in public but struggling a little in your own private space, do pay attention. Do acknowledge that you are having mental health issues, and it's not a bad thing, because if you're sick, okay, physically, and you go to a doctor, pay attention to it, get it cured, then you can lead a perfectly healthy life. And that's wonderful, isn't it? Similarly, if you're suffering from mental health issues, even minor ones, this is what I guess Dr. David Goldman refers to as being subclinically psychotic, yeah, we have to pay attention to these issues and get the right treatment from the right professionals. Okay, so this is so important. So in this channel, I mainly talk about self-mastery and self-reinvention. Yes, self-mastery comes first before self-reinvention, and self-mastery means knowing yourself for who you are, knowing all of your strengths and knowing all of your weaknesses. Mainly, the most important pillar in which you have to work on your weaknesses is the mental health pillar. Okay, right. So once you know your weaknesses, then you can correct those weaknesses. You have to rectify the underlying problems with regard to the mindsets and the thoughts, yeah. And you then, only after clearing all the problems, after correcting or rectifying all the problems, then you can start building on that by means of self-reinvention. So you see, I didn't even know that I had mental health issues. Even if I had some idea, I was in denial. So I got married in my mid-20s and gave birth to 2 children in my late 20s. And the underlying mental health issues were still not resolved. More responsibilities, yeah. So I was lucky that I had married a very good and supportive man who also built up my self-esteem in the sense that he always told me that I was very intelligent and therefore he needed my support in order to take the family further. And we both focused a lot on building 3 of the 8 pillars: education, career, and finance. Soon the children came along and my husband and I were completely dedicated to them. We wanted to bring them up to be all that they could be. We had very high aspirations for them, and we knew that we had to save money for a very high quality education for them, especially their tertiary education. Yes, we had such vision even the moment they were both born. And so we decided that the only way we could do it was if we became better people ourselves. So we started focusing a lot on self-reinvention. We attended a lot of seminars and devoured actually books on personal development and positive psychology and financial management, everything that we felt that we needed. I also went on to do a master's degree in education, which further boosted my self-esteem and confidence because of some of the recognition I got there from my lecturers and mentors. While there was so much of improvement, the underlying problems, the underlying mental health issues that were left unattended started rearing their ugly heads in my life, with the responsibility of making sure that the children were raised to be all that they can and having very high goals set for them. I became anxious whenever I felt that they did not do well enough at school, did not bring back the kind of results that we expected of them. And somehow, from deep within the darkness of my subconscious mind, the kind of parenting that I got was passed on to them. I was very critical of my children and I used to punish them. It was hard on them, and this was not good for our relationship. So my anger was quite bad at that time because I used to get angry with the children for every little thing. I blamed myself actually, but this used to be manifested as anger towards my children. I knew that this is not going to work because my children were actually distancing themselves from me, and they only wanted to deal with their dad. Probably because I'm not doing something right. We sat down and we talked about it, and we found out that, yeah, there was still mental health issues that needed to be addressed. That was the root cause of my anger. And this is when I decided, both my husband and I decided, that I needed proper therapy so that I do not pass on my mental health issues as baggages to my children, which will then hold them back from being their best. So I took up therapy in the form of hypnotherapy, and I then later went on also to get certified as a hypnotherapist myself, because it was wonderful. What happened to me in therapy was wonderful. And after that, from a state of where the children were avoiding me, where they preferred to go out with their father and not me, they were actually, once they told their father, say, now Amma is so much of fun that you look like the bad guy. So that was a wonderful change in me, and I finally became free of my mental health issues. And it was then that I could really soar and fly and achieve great things in my life. And it's been great since then. What I want to again assert to you is that self-mastery first, then self-reinvention. Look within, identify all the underlying mental health issues and rectify them. You could go a lot further. And if you, like me, are a mother who wants the best for her children, you cannot do your best for them and enable them to be their best if you don't sort out the mental health issues. So look out for the signs, acknowledge that you do have it, don't be in denial, and seek therapy from a professional. I hope this video was useful. Hope to see you again in another video.